Good afternoon. This is LockDoc coming through. Alright, so today we have an oldie goldie here. This is made by Sargent. This is a 7600. It's known as an Integra lock. These were very prominent back in the, I'm assuming, 70s and 80s. That's when a lot of the buildings of the customers I have, that's how old they go back. But these were outdated and discontinued, I believe, sometime in the early 90s. So here it is. It's kind of known as like a mini mortise lock. This is only, I believe, 4¼ inches high. Then you got 1¼ here on the width. Anyway, so these are pretty interesting locks in themselves. Typically, you got screws on the inside. You take those out. Kind of awkward to get to because, as you can see from this, you kind of got to have your screwdriver at an angle even to get a hold of that Phillips head screw. But these things have so many little parts on the inside. I've been able to work on them in the past, but like I said, they're very tiny. Alright, so if we wanted to take the cylinder out of this, the cylinder is in this portion here. So I got it out there. There we go. Alright, so once you got this part, there should be a little nylon bushing right there, but that's probably gone years ago. Alright, so now we get in there with our handy dandy flathead screwdriver. Find one. This should work. Yep. Alright, so we unscrew the screw here, which will allow us to disconnect the shaft from the knob. Alright, screw comes out. And then this piece unscrews off of here. Now when you go to lift the shaft off the knob, you got to hold on to this piece. What I like to do is just kind of pull and spin the knob. Alright, and the reason why is underneath. Oh, again, this one doesn't have it. Usually there's a little spring that goes underneath. Must be a different function I'm thinking of. But anyway, so here's the cylinder out of them. Very similar to other styles of Sargent locks. In order to get to the barrel, you got to take a little tiny flathead screwdriver and remove those two screws. Which I think this one will work. Nope, too small. Let me see here. Tiny, tiny screws. Tell you what. Alright, so a tiny screw. Then on the inside, there's the tailpiece. There's your barrel. So if you didn't have a key for this, you could easily extract the cylinder from it and then just shim it open, just like any other, lock that you would want to shim open. Anyway, so that's how you get to the cylinder. My screwdriver's not that great, so I'm not going to put that back together just yet. Alright, so here's the lock case. These buttons toggle lock and unlock of the outside lever. And here we go. So you remove these 4 screws, which will allow you to take the faceplate off. One thing that I should mention is that you can actually take this whole cover off all the way around it if for whatever reason something broke or sheared off or something like that. You don't have to actually take this faceplate off in order to retrieve those items. One thing also to note too, all of these are all little brass bushings that actually have to stay where they need to stay. Alright, so it's popping on me here. Alright, so just for the time being, I'm going to alleviate the tension on that so we can look at this. Very simply constructed. Here's this piece I was talking about you can remove. The handing on these is determined by the latch bolt, and if you look at it here, so they don't have inside. Aha, okay. I'm looking at these toggle switches here and seeing what they're actually doing mechanically. So they're moving this rocker arm. So that rocker arm must, so the underside of this must be the lock side of the door because it's interacting with that hub right there. But say we wanted to switch the handing on this, we'll pull that forward or pull that back this way, pull that out, flip it around, flip it back in there. And then this piece, this spring, gets put right there. Right. Nope, did that backwards. Ah, there you go. So that's where we want it. So that spring gets put onto this side. Oop. Just like that. So not much to these. They're pretty cool. They're definitely a worthwhile mention to bring up when you're talking about locks, because even though their time period was kind of short, they're pretty cool. Not really any other mortise locks have came out looking like this. In fact, if you have one and you want to convert it over to a normal lock, I know there's a company called Donjo that makes a filler plate over here that converts this 4 1/4 inch length and gives you the necessary prep to change it over to a new cylindrical lock. Part number on that, I believe, is a CV2414. But anyway, so there we go, putting that back together.